Good day, good morning, everybody. Wherever you are watching this video from or what time zone, I'm so glad you're here with me. And we're doing something a little different today. So you are going to see me do a little illustration about the power of what we say. Okay, so interesting, right? This really blank, weird wall. This is a closet. And this is going to be my new office. This is just a plain, random closet. Good morning, Debbie. We're going to talk about the power of what we say to not trigger ourselves. So this is going to be my new office. I was talking to my peaceful eating group community this week about, the power, good morning, Jenny, of our words. And so on Monday's video, we also talked about basically getting less triggered by diet culture. And I'm going to turn this around so you can see me again in a second. I'm going to sit down on the floor and we're going to do this together. So on Monday, we talked about the power of learning how to be triggered less. What do we need to be triggered less? And something I didn't talk about, see all the scuffs? We're going to fix those, right? So what we talked about as we ended up, and let's get some more light here as well. What we talked about is ultimately, we're not responsible when we're younger of what we internalize, but as adults we are. And so if we've had diet culture yapping in our ears for 10 or 40 years, it's not your fault you might have some of those thoughts. But it is our responsibility to say, okay, when, let's say you tell yourself, oh, that's too much food, or oh, I don't have time to eat, or I don't deserve it, or it's all too hard for me, or taking care of myself is a burden, or all those things. I know those are messages, or those are our personal responses to circumstances that did feel very overwhelming. You're not to blame for those circumstances, but we are responsible as adults to capture those thoughts, because there is so much power in what we say, and then what we think creates these emotions, and then it creates these belief systems, and before you know it, you're behaving as if all of that is true. And that's how these neural networks get created, because we think, we feel, we respond, and it creates these neural networks. So part of today's, exhortation, whatever we want to call this today, is that there's so much power in what we say to ourselves. So much power. And I think that's how we trigger ourselves a lot. And that's how we get back in these old patterns that our adult selves do not want to be doing. So it's really, really important that we start to capture these thoughts and start to take time to do that. I mean, I think that's part of the trap as well, is that if every single day you look at something, I'll show you my office again. So this is going to be my office at some point. So all this is a closet, probably with it had a lot of just kind of random junk storage in it, to be perfectly honest, that we never used. And it's time for a change of pace. I've been in the same office within my house room. We don't have a lot of rooms, but we just kind of play musical rooms because we lived here for a while. And because I live at home, or I work at home and live at home, obviously, is that, you need to change it up a bit. Change up if you're getting bored, if you're feeling not motivated, whatever. I'm showing you all the things that are in this space, so in this container, and I'm going for the metaphor here, in this container, that are kind of a mess, that are kind of junky, kind of cluttered, and there's a lot to do. The lighting's not great, like it's yellow. See the yellow? I gotta fix that, which I got a new light for. And so I'm going to be showing you this little closet office space that is going to be created over the weeks, and helping you use this as a metaphor of here's my space inside, and I want to make this a really cozy, comfortable, a place I want to be, a place I want to call home, and maybe even be your second home with me here. I do videos from here, other stuff too. Of course, outside is always my preference, of course, for most things, but can't do that if it's windy or raining, those kind of things. So this is going to be our second home here. I'm just looking around at all the things that there's potential. And I could say, oh, that's going to be too hard. It's too much. And all the things I've got to do. There's true. There's a good bit to do here that there's not an instruction manual for. But some things we do know is true. Like, I do know that I have to fix that light. That's just obvious. If I don't have the right kind of light, like, the rest of everything I do in here is going to be washed out. Yeah, it's going to be fun, Jennifer. And it's a very small space. It's not a big deal. And that's how our lives are. Our lives really are all individually like this small space. You can be in life and make a big impact on the people that you're around simply by inside your own self, creating a space you like. Not overly focus on the outsides. I'm not going to like go crazy here with like repainting these walls and stuff like that. I mean, probably the side walls just to get rid of the black scuff marks everywhere. But I'm not going to repaint the paneling, that kind of stuff. Well, Debbie, yeah. This is inspired by this, is that we need to create our own space, not just in a little office closet to do our work in, but also to have some space for ourselves. And we want to have a space in our lives for ourselves. But if your thoughts are run amok with what you feel like you can't do, what you can't have, that you're too much, you won't have your own. It's like you're going to be filled up with other people's stuff. You're going to be filled up with diet culture stuff. You're going to be filled up with all the messaging that you got or interpreted that your existence here is too much, or that what your needs are too much, your calorie needs are too much, your body's too much. And that junk fills up your space. And we're not going to have any more junk in our spaces, inside ourselves anymore. So I would love to hear from you all in the comments below. You can talk to me about a literal space, but what I'm really going for in your house, that maybe is a space for yourself. But what I'm really going for here is like, what do you need to capture thought-wise inside yourself to feel more at peace inside? Because if you're more peaceful inside, if you're not scared of your own sensations inside, if you don't think that your sensations are the enemy inside, you might find that like the outsides don't matter quite as much. So thank you all so much for watching. I would love to see what you aim to capture today and how you aim to think and therefore hold on to. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you next video. Bye for now.